Okay, from talking with Kevin and Bruce, I think we've decided that we're going to use the NoVid mode during matches and tournaments in order to take our stats. So rather than having a Zoom call, I thought I would try just making an instructional video, and if anybody had any any questions, they could just ask me at practice. And if we need to have a Zoom call later, because there's a lot of questions, then we can go ahead and do that. But I just wanted to try this first. Okay, so the first step is once you've logged in, scroll down and find where it says NoVid mode. Then you'll click on that, and then this window will come up. Now it asks you to enter a YouTube URL, but you actually can't. That one is locked in there, so you can't actually change it since there's going to be no actual video attached to these stats. But the system still needs URL. So I've just put in a default URL that's basically no relevance. Then the next step is you have to select the name of your team from the drop down. Select that and then write in the name of the opponent. So say test, enter the match date, and then enter notes. Let's just put test notes. Okay, then you'll click on start match and it'll show you this window. So I think what we've agreed on is that we'll take stats on serving and on passing, and then on everything that results in a point. So we're not going to do things like digs or sets. Sets in terms of the game, but not the actual setter sets, the balls that they're putting up. So it'll be things like kills, blocks, digs, opponent errors, opponent kills, that type of thing. So basically the way it works is the players who will be listed on the stat sheet will be the ones who are listed as starters on your team. And there's room for 12. So when we actually start taking stats for the individual teams, there's only going to be 10 people because we only have 10 people on the team. I'm thinking that what we'll do, since we don't have the final rosters, is just create 2 identical teams, and then we can go in and just select the starters for who's going to play with which team for which tournament. So basically the way it works is you'll select the player first, and then one of these buttons for the action. So let's say I clicked Seb. Let's say Seb had an ace. That would be an S4 because the S's are the ratings for the serving. So an S4 is an ace, and S3 is if the team passes a 2, I believe, if the team passes a 1, and S2 is if the team passes a 2, and S1 is if the opponent, the team, passes a 3, and an S0 is if we miss the serve. Okay. For reception, it's the R buttons. So R3 is the perfect pass, R2, R1, R0. All right, so let's just go back to my example. So I click Seb. Let's say Seb got an ace. Then you click S4. It's very important that you select the set that we're in. That'll make sure that the automatic scoring is up to date. One other thing we could track, but that's kind of a pain in the butt, is the rotations by choosing where the setter is. But when you're trying to take stats in real time, I think that can get lost. And if we really need it, it's something that could be recreated later by going through the logs of everything that was entered. Okay, so we have Seb serving an ace. After each play, and a play is from whistle to whistle, you're going to click submit and submit the information to the system. Not after each touch, mind you, but each play. So in this example, an S4, because it's the one play, would just be an ace. So let's just click that and show you what happens. Okay. Then you can see the score is automatically updated. So Mavs Training Center, that's us. We have 1. The opponent has 0. And this was what was actually entered. If you made a mistake, actually this isn't what was actually entered. This is the code that it gets converted to for long-term memory into the system, so we can do things like cumulative stats. But for example, say it wasn't set. You hit the wrong number, the wrong shirt number. You could click this and then edit it. Right. So say it was a min. Right. Click H11 S4 because a min's number 11. S4 is an ace, and then you just click submit. Okay. And that's basically how it works. So you would just go through each play. Let's see the next play. We'll say Victor served an S3. It came over. We played it out, and then Charles had a kill. So Charles is H10. And the kills or the attacks are the K buttons. So K2 is a kill. And K1 is the play continue, which we're not going to take stats on in real time. Because it's not something that results in a point. So all we would take stats on in real time is either a kill or an error. Right? So let's give Charles a kill. Hit submit. And you can see that the score is updated. So this is also a good way for us to know what the score is in case the scorekeepers get it wrong. Now you'll notice that there's a green button or a little green dot beside the play. Now, what that is it makes sure that the number of plays and the number of points is accurate. So, for example, if somebody messed up and they just put H13 for Victor, and let's see, Victor passed a 2, and you hit submit, then it's no longer green, because the number of plays and the number of points don't match up. All right. So if you made that error and you wanted to fix it, you could just click on Edit All. And then it's in order, but it's in reverse order. So the newest players will be at the top. So this last play, it said that Victor passed a 2. We want to delete that. Okay, yes. Okay, and then we could just continue on, right? So one other thing that I wanted to show you is the recombobulate button. And all this does is say you lose track of where you are and you're not sure where you are, or the layout of this doesn't look proper on your tablet. You just click the recombobulate button. It'll take you to this page, okay, and then you click on this, and it will reset everything and let you continue from where you left off. Okay, so let's see, is there anything else that I need to show you in regards to this? Okay, I guess we can go over what all the individual buttons that we're going to be using are. Okay, so obviously you have the players across the top, which have to be selected before each contact. You have the serving ratings, which are the S buttons, the blue ones. You have the reception ratings. But you also have this E0 button. Now, what the E0 button is, like there's two E0 buttons. There's one with a tilde, and then there's one without. So the one without would be, it's a general error. So anything that isn't covered by the metrics, like say, for example, I don't know, a ball handling violation would be a good one. So say, we received a serve, Andrew passed the 3, and then Amin had a ball handling error. That's not tracked by anything else. There is no metric for ball handling error, so that would fall under an E0. So we would go Amin, E0, and then hit submit. As you can see, this is green, and they've scored a point because we made an error. Okay, so the green buttons, I'll just go over it even though we're not going to be using them, are for sets. So a P15 would be a high ball outside, a P12 would be a shoot outside, a P31 would be a shoot set to the middle. And so if we were taking those stats, let's see, Charles passed a 3, and then Amin set a high ball outside, and let's say Victor killed it, right? That's how that would be used. So when people are taking full stats, like when we submit our videos to be statted by the actual scouts, they will actually take that metric, or they will actually track that metric, but we're not going to do that. So let's just delete that. Okay. What the Z1 to 9 is that's, again, not something we're going to be tracking, but something that I guess would be good to know. It's the location of where all the serves or the attacks went. So, for example, let's go Charles passed the 3. I'm in set up P15 out to Tyus. And Tyus had a K2 and he hit it down the line. So these correspond to zones on the court, and you can see the zones in the documentation by going to the support section down here. But yeah, then it would just be Z1. So what this says is that Charles passed the 3, Amin had set a high ball, and Tyus had a kill in zone 1. Okay, we're just gonna delete that. Okay, so for blocks, again, we're only gonna track things that result in a point. So a B2 is a stuff block. A B1 would be like a rejection, which we're not going to track in real time. And a BO would be a blocking error. For example, they're on the net. Okay, D2 would be a dig, but again, we're not going to track digs in real time because it's a little bit too time consuming, a little bit too hard to keep track of everything. Okay, the last 2 buttons that I want to go over are tilde E0 and tilde K2. So we want to know in real time as well how many points the other team has given us, or how many points, how many points the other team has given us. So if it's a missed serve, or they have a ball handling error, or they hit a ball out of bounds, any error by their team that results in a point would just be a straight E0. It's not attached to any player. It would just be, tilde E0. You'd hit submit, and you could see the points go up. The other thing that I think we should track is kills by the other team. How many balls did they kill against us? This is largely due just in order to keep the score accurate. Okay, so let's see. An example would be, let's see, Isaac served an S3, but they set a high ball outside and somebody on their team killed it. So that would be a K2. Then just click submit. So that's basically how the NoVid works. The NoVid mode works, and how I see us using it this year. If you have any other questions, you all know how to get in touch with me.